Hello again. Here we are. And today I will be showing you all the books that I read in 2024. There were 11 books that I read that I remember. I don't quite know if I got all of them, but these are the ones that I definitely know that I did read in 2024. I've the whole year. There's only 11. Most of these I didn't read until later in the year, around October, something like that. Yeah, today I'm going to be showing you all the books that I read in 2024, and I will start off with my least favorite and then go up to my favorite. Um, all of them I liked reading. I didn't love all of them, but I enjoyed parts of each one. Uh, but yeah, so the first book, my least favorite, would have to be Stephen King's The Gunslinger. Now, I did like the book. I'm gonna have to go back and reread it because I liked it. I For the first part of when the main character is in the whenever he's in the western town near the beginning. I don't know how I don't know how much of the book that is, but pretty much after that I kind of lost I got lost after that for the most part. I picked up some things here and there, but I really liked the first town that the main character was in, all the things that happened in that town. Um, but yeah, everything after that, it was kind of just a blur. I'm gonna have to go back and reread it because I've got the next three books in the series, and I do want to read the rest of those. So I'm gonna go back and reread this one, maybe give it a second shot. Maybe I just wasn't used to his style yet. But yeah, it's all right from what I read it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was all right. So, anyways, second book would have to be the first book in the Darkverse series. Um, First, I'm gonna talk about the book itself. Man, um, it's great. The way it looks, hardcover. It's like a imitation leather, I think. Um, the pages are black. It looks like they've been burned. I don't think they have actually been burned, but the way that they have them, it's like I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but they're like wavy. They look like they've been burned, which is awesome. Black pages. The artwork. Don't get me started on the artwork. The artwork is awesome. It's the first page, second page, um, last page. I mean, the book itself is awesome. It's great. Like the artistry of it is phenomenal. Now, the inside of the book, the stories, it's an anthology. So it's about um 20 something stories in this book, which I want to say I can definitively remember like five of them, which might not be for me, in my opinion. The first story was really good. I really liked the first story of where like these people are in this tower, like I don't know if it's like this facility or tower or whatever, and um it's dark up there, but as they go down, it gets lighter and lighter, and then these monsters are there. It's really cool. Uh, Another one, um, Gift of the Crossroads. I think that one was my favorite from this book. It's about this guy who has this fabric. He's given this fabric, and then the fabric kind of like latches onto him at some point. Spoilers, by the way. Uh, and the story is kind of just him becoming the fabric itself, and then him seeing his son, and then the fabric kind of taking them over, and then them combining into one. It's strange, but I really dug it. I thought it was really cool. It was pretty good, and I didn't really love it, but it was good though. I enjoyed it more than the other one. It caught my attention pretty well. Third book, the Book of Five Rings. It came in this very nice hardcover. So like, I really like this company that really makes these really nice books. They're cloth bound. I think that's what they are. I think they're called cloth bound. Um, but yeah, they do a really good job with these. The oh, artwork in them are great as per usual. This one is kind of more of a fighting style book, which more philosophy, Eastern philosophy. Love me some Eastern philosophy. I thought it was pretty good. I don't I didn't see myself coming out of it learning a whole lot, if I'm being honest. Um, I don't know if that's because I took it too literally or whatever, but yeah, it was really good. You can apply several things if you're into your life, if you really tried. Another Eastern philosophy that I am trying to apply, but always fall short somehow. Next up, another philosophy. I think this is the last philosophy I have in my pile. But the Art of War, I like this one a lot more, and the Book of Five Rings more cloth bound, which is fantastic. I love cloth bound. They're so silky and so smooth. But this one, kind of along the same lines of the Book of Five Rings, um, more of like battle strategy, and I think it does what it sets out to do very well. And also, this edition has in the back like tips to apply this book into real life. It has in the back of the book how these strategies can help in businesses and other areas of your life, which I thought is really, really cool that they added that. They kind of went through the book and applied it to certain jobs or whatever. And I thought that was really cool that they did that. But yeah, more Eastern philosophy. There's not really much I can say about the philosophy books because I feel like they're different for everybody. Whether you can just apply them to your life. Yeah, I think they're different for everybody. But I mean, if you like philosophy, it's a staple. Okay, you kind of have to read it if you like philosophy. It's um yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. That is really good. I don't know whatever this is. Five, I think. Stephen King's The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. Now this one was I think the longest book I ever have read this year. Pretty sure. It's another short story collection of I don't know how many, but they've got quite a few good ones in here, like really good ones. The first one, Mile 81, it's another car coming to life horror story, which I like those. I like Christine, so this was different than Christine. The car did things differently, and I really enjoyed that. Somehow he somehow still manages to make things different, even when it's about the same thing. Classic Stephen King. Uh, there were a lot of stories in here that were just sad. It's really sad for some reason. I don't know why this one was just so sad at times. Which, I mean, they were good stories regardless, but they were some of them were just really sad. Like Premium Harmony, Batman and Robin have an altercation, which when I went to go read that, I was not expecting what it was about, which was another sad story. It was good, but man, it was a really sad story. Um, Bad Little Kid, I really like that one. I think these longer ones in these short story collections are my favorites. I don't know, just because he's fleshed them out more, but Bad Little Kid was really good too. Kind of dark, but still good. Um, was also one of my favorites from here with the Kindle from another dimension where you could kind of see what's happening in different dimensions. I really like that. That was a cool idea. I like that a lot. And then I think the last one that stuck out to me was Drunken Fireworks, which um I've come to notice that a lot of these just aren't horror stories. They're kind of just stories that he wrote, which I like. Not every day you get to see the non-horror side of Stephen King. Drunken Fireworks is exactly what it sounds like, but it was really good. Two families trying to outdo each other with fireworks, trying to get the biggest and the better fireworks every year. And it finally comes to a head in the last one. Um, I recommend some of the stories from here. I don't recommend all of them, but I recommend quite a few of them if you want to sit down and read them. Um, Number 6, next book, Junji Ito's Alley. Now, this one, it's not his best. I will come out and say that now. This is not Junji Ito's best, but it is still good. It is still Junji Ito doing his thing, still having it's a collection of his short stories that he's done. I think some of the more notable ones are Mold and Ice Cream Bus, which he's very creative with his stuff. I'll give him that. He's super creative, and I really applaud that. There's not really much I can say about it. It's if you like the his uh his artwork is again just phenomenal in pretty much all of his stuff. Um, I think it's one of the lesser collection stories, which isn't to say they're bad, because it's still good. It's still a good collection of stories, just not up to par with his best. But yeah, I'll keep buying them. I'll keep reading them all because I might as well read them all, right? Because I love everything he's put out pretty much. But yeah, it's a really good one. I recommended it not for anyone who's first getting into them, but if it's like you've read everything, you need something, then yeah, I recommend that. Now, these last 5 books are I would consider my favorites. These are my 5 favorites. These are where they start to get really good. These are some of my personal favorites from last year. And we'll start off with Stephen King's Night Shift. Pretty much all of these stories in here. This is a short story collection. It's got not a whole lot of them, but a lot of them are good. A lot of them are really good. I Am the Doorway, where this guy gets an alien virus from when he visits, I think, Venus or Mars or something like that. And then he starts to show the signs of the virus, kind of uh, doing things to his body, and then he's taking drastic measures to kind of combat this virus. Next story, The Mangler, about a possessed industrial machine that kills people, which leave it to Stephen King for turning inanimate objects into animate objects and making it a horror story. My next favorite would be The Boogeyman, which is underrated in my opinion. Very underrated, where it's the story of the boogeyman hiding in your closet as you're a little kid. It's from the perspective of a little kid kind of dealing with what he thinks is the boogeyman. And I don't know if it was the audiobook I listened to, but it was really good. Yeah, I really felt it. I felt creeped out by it. It was really good. One of my other favorites, I'll just say my favorite from here is Quitters Inc., which also very underrated in my opinion. It's the story of this guy who really wants to quit smoking, so he pays this company to help him stop smoking, and they ensure he will stop smoking one way or another. I don't want to say too much, but the company goes to drastic measures to make sure he stops smoking. And it gets a little dark, uh, in my opinion, but it's really good. This short story collection is really good. It's probably his best. I think everybody says that this is his best short story collection. This also has the Children of the Corn in here, which, um, if you know me, I don't really care for the movie, but I did like the book better than the movie. So there's that. Um, but yeah, I highly recommend this one. If you like horror and short stories, I recommend this one. I recommend this one. It's got a lot of other good ones that I didn't mention in here, like Battlegrounds, which is like toy soldiers coming to life. Also really cool. I recommend that one. Number four. All right, my number four for my top five. Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men. This book is this is the only time that I would say that the movie is on par or even better than the book. Um, I enjoyed the movie more than the book, but the book is still really good. I still highly recommend the book. Cormac McCarthy does not know how to use quotation marks to save his life, and sometimes commas. Not an easy person. Not an easy person to read from. His style is not easy to read, so I've come to know. I definitely want to give it a reread, but it was still really good. A little more philosophical than I thought about this guy who comes across these trucks full of holes, bullet holes, finds money, takes the money, and then this bad guy decides to hunt him down and collect that money. But it doesn't stop there. So, and I think it's from the perspective of two or three main characters, and I think it's cool, kind of switching from those different perspectives of each character, and seeing their thoughts of each sentence where the main character, the sheriff, is trying to find the bad guy, and the bad guy is trying to find the main character who's not the sheriff, and the main guy who's not the sheriff is just trying to get away from the bad guy. And it's kind of see them never really interacting with each other. I think it's supposed to be more symbolic. And I know you're watching this, Austin. Great movie, great book. I don't care what you say. They're both great. Anyways, my number three. These are all three really good, but The Haunting of Hill House. This was a shorter one. This was a lot shorter than I thought it would be. I've heard so much about this book. I thought it'd be longer. Um, but the main reason why this one is so high, it is like a classic haunted house story, but it was just written in 1959, by the way. It's a classic horror, like haunted story, but it still manages to surprise me. It did the classic, haunted house stuff, but it went beyond that too. And I think that was so unexpected. And I really loved it for that. Like it did things outside of the haunted house norm that I think should be looked at more. Because for like a classic piece of horror literature, you would think that people would kind of pick up on that more, but I, I don't really see that being mentioned as much as it should. It was really good. I was really surprised. At times I felt like, wow, I, I'm stunned because it still did that classic haunted house thing, but it at the end it went further than that. It did new stuff, and I thought that was awesome. I loved it. Now this is an amazing book. I really like this book, and it's a short read, so it doesn't really take that long. But I recommend it to everybody if you like horror. A classic piece of horror literature that still goes beyond the norm. Yeah. Now we're getting to my top two, and my number two is Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Bazterrica? Bazterrica? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Do not know how to pronounce your last name. This book, man, this book. I just was not expecting this book to be so jarring. It was is really short, less than 300 pages, I believe. Yeah, it's barely 200. It's a dark book. It is really dark, but it's so creative. The basic premise is uh there's this weird virus that goes around tainting animal meat, and so animal meat has to be replaced with human meat. And there's this weird moral like dynamic within the book where it's like I think a certain percent of the population had died either from choosing not to eat human meat or something like that, where it's like they'd rather die than eat human meat. But it really gives this like sense of how far will you go to kind of keep yourself alive? Like how far are you willing to go? A little philosophical, but it's a really good book. I was highly surprised that it was this good. I highly recommend this if you can stomach it. There were parts of it that made my stomach kind of churn a little bit because it was just like I don't really like the way they're describing these. Spoiler alerts, by the way. They kind of describe the people. They like breed people like cattle, and then they kind of describe them like the author did her research when she did this. Obviously, you can tell, but she kind of describes the process of turning the humans into meat, and it's so like nonchalantly dehumanizing, and it's so weird to listen to and read. It's so interesting. I loved it. I thought it was great. As dark as that sounds, it was great. I loved it. It was super creative. Feel weird saying that, but there are parts of it that was a couple one part in here that was really sad for I understand the um symbolism of it, but yeah, it was really sad with the puppy. And the ending, twist ending. Love twist endings. Like the last paragraph or two or whatever, the twist ending. Didn't expect that coming. Did not expect that coming one bit. He was supposed to be different than from everybody else, but he wasn't. Surprise, surprise. But anyways, fantastic book. Highly recommend this book. I loved it. Now, my favorite book from last year would have to be. I don't know if you could read that. You don't know if you could read that. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. This book, I had bought it in November, and it came in the mail, and I got it. Opened the package. I saw it, and I read it in one sitting, front to back, right there when I opened it. It took me about 15 minutes, I think, 10 to 15 minutes. This book means a lot to me. I think that no matter who you are or what you believe, I think that everyone simply needs to read this book. Every single person on this earth needs to read this book. It's very uplifting. Kind of, I want to say it humbles you a little bit. It tries to humble you some, and I I can't really put into words how the book made me feel. I felt this very very warm feeling as I read it. It's not like some super complex, like super wordy book or anything. It's very simple. It's very effective, very philosophical at times. And it just I feel like everyone needs to read this. It really teaches you something, and I just think everyone needs to read this. I can't really describe it. I feel weird recommending it, but shout out to Evan who kind of mentioned this book to me in passing. It just really does something for you. It really does something for you. I highly recommend this book. It was absolutely phenomenal. I feel like to the right person, it can really help them get through something. If that makes any sense. I really enjoyed this book. It made me feel at peace at times. It really did. I think I think that everyone should read this book. I think everyone should. And that was all my books for 2024. I plan to do this every year, hopefully, if I can remember to do it. Don't know if I'll stick to that, but I will try. I will sure try to. I, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm gonna try. Anyways, thank you for watching my video.